are some video game characters who manage to stay hidden despite the fact they aren't hiding at all. For one reason or another, their presence goes unnoticed even if they're out in the open for the whole world to see. So with that in mind, I'm Sai for WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 secret video game characters hiding in plain sight. Number 10, Tanner, Grand Theft Auto 3. Driver has been regularly compared to Grand Theft Auto since it places a huge focus on exploring a bustling city. For this reason, the developers behind both series have enjoyed taking the pee out of each other over the years. So while Rockstar was putting together Grand Theft Auto 3, they couldn't help taking a pop at their so-called rival. In the Two-Faced Tanner mission, the protagonist is tasked with eliminating a strangely animated cop. This police informant is only seen for 2 seconds at best before getting into his vehicle, so it's easy not to recognise he's the main character from Driver, John Tanner. Since this mission can be completed without getting a clear shot of him, even the biggest Driver fans might miss out on the joke. Instead of mowing Tanner down after he dashes out of his vehicle, it's more entertaining to chase him on foot. That way, Tanner's deliberately janky run can be witnessed in all of its glory, which is a reference to his erratic on-foot animations in Driver 2. It's such a great gag, it's a genuine shame most people don't see it. Number 9, Drumstick, Diddy Kong Racing. A lot of racing games have secret playable characters that can only be accessed after punching in a certain code or completing a series of challenges. But in Diddy Kong Racing, the criteria required to unlock one of the fastest drivers, Drumstick, is a bit more odd. In the centre of Timbers Island, a chorus of frogs can be spotted hopping around the water. After winning every trophy and amulet, a frog harboring a rooster crown will appear in the area. After squishing this little critter, Drumstick will be freed from his amphibian body and become a selectable driver. The cockadoodling chicken is one of the game's best racers, so it's imperative to unlock him as soon as possible to stand a chance against the last few races and the final boss. But since first-time players haven't a clue how to unlock him, they're sure to zoom by Drumstick in his frog form dozens of times, oblivious of his significance. For this reason, it's very possible to unlock the cheerful cockerel accidentally by unintentionally ploughing over the clucking frog. Number 8, Optimus Prime, Assassin's Creed. Taking place across countless time periods, it's no surprise that Assassin's Creed is filled with many historic figures such as George Washington, Aristotle, Benjamin Franklin, and Leonardo da Vinci. However, one iconic name nobody expected to show up in Ubisoft's hack-and-slash saga is Optimus Prime from the Transformers series. Being a giant alien metamorph, the Autobots leader should stand out like a sore thumb in a stealth title that's renowned for its historic accuracy. And yet, missing Prime's cameo in the original Assassin's Creed is surprisingly common. While navigating multiple cities in the game, players may notice a certain detail about some of the buildings. By observing the window arrangement, it's clear they resemble the front of Optimus's G1 truck form. Prime may not appear in his humanoid body, but die-hard fans of the Transformers toys and cartoons should still appreciate this inexplicable Easter egg. Even though the window's resemblance to Optimus Prime is unmistakable, it didn't register for many for one simple reason. Why the heck would they be looking out for a colossal robot in an Assassin's Creed game? Number 7, Mario and Yoshi, Metal Gear Solid, The Twin Snakes. The Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake is on the way, but this isn't the first title in the series to get a do-over. Back in 2004, Nintendo and Silicon Knights joined forces to create a revised version of the original game called The Twin Snakes. The GameCube exclusive offered improved enemy AI, enhanced graphics, re-recorded dialogue, and gameplay more akin to the sequel, Sons of Liberty. And since the game was on a Nintendo console, a Super Mario Easter egg was expected to be tucked away somewhere. Honestly, it'd be kind of weird if they didn't take advantage of this moment. Although Mario does pop up, it's likely Solid Snake will walk by the coin-collecting plumber without even noticing him. After fighting Grey Fox, Snake will have the opportunity to explore the office. By looking in the corner of the room, players can find the Mario and Yoshi statuettes on a computer. Since the adorable duo are in the top right of the office, they're obscured by the on-screen map, making them hard to spot at first. But by zooming in with the camera, players should be able to see the iconic Nintendo mascots just kind of hanging out in Shadow Moses Island. Number 6, Rebecca Chambers, Resident Evil 2. After the success of the original Resident Evil, Capcom decided to ramp up everything for the sequel, including the secrets. Resident Evil 2 boasts tons of hidden modes, costumes, weapons, and characters, and one of them's a chunk of sentient tofu, wouldn't you know? If players know where to look, they'll also be able to find an image of Rebecca Chambers, the young STARS member from the previous installment. This is true of both the 98 original and the 2019 remake. By scouring through the villainous Albert Wesker's desk, Leon and Claire should find a roll of undeveloped film. After developing it in the lab, our protagonist will see it's a photograph of Rebecca Chambers in a sports uniform. Although our heroes must enter the STARS office during the main campaign, nobody catches this Easter egg unless they know about it prior, since it only appears after rummaging through the desk 50 times. This entire scenario brings up many thought-provoking questions. Firstly, how did Leon and Claire not find the undeveloped film the first 49 times they inspected the desk? Secondly, what compelled the gamer who discovered this secret the first time to investigate Wesker's desk 50 times? And most importantly, why does Wesker have a picture of Rebecca in the first place? Actually, I'm not sure I want to know. Number 5, Umaru, Final Fantasy VI. Halfway through Final Fantasy VI, the main ensemble is separated, forcing our 12 heroes to find one another before venturing to the final dungeon. During this section, there are 2 new party members that can be picked up, Gogo and Umaru. Gogo is so well hidden, it's easy to play through the entire game without knowing about him. However, our band of heroes should be aware of Umaru's existence pretty early on, regardless of whether or not they unlock him. In the north of Nash, the white-furred Yeti can be spotted admiring the citizens from a high alcove. Even though he appears clear as day, there doesn't seem to be any straightforward way to reach him. Since the abominable beast appears right beside the mine's entrance, it's safe to assume that's where he resides. On the contrary though, Umaru can only be located by jumping from the peak of Nash and landing in his lair. After defeating him in battle, the ferocious Sasquatch will join your party. Number 4, Calendar Man, Batman Arkham Knight. Though Batman Arkham City has plenty of hidden features, few are as creative as the interactions with Julian Gregory Day, aka Calendar Man. If the eccentric supervillain is visited in his cell on specific holidays such as Halloween, Christmas or Thanksgiving, he'll talk about a person he murdered on that day. After listening to all 12 of Calendar Man's tales, Batman discovers the fanatical killer has escaped from his cell on his next visit. With Calendar Man free to roam Gotham City once more, it was implied the festive fiend may return in a later installment. Although he appears in Batman Arkham Knight, he is tricky to spot. In the sequence where Bruce Wayne's identity is exposed, a crowd gathers outside Wayne Manor. It's difficult to make out who's in the rabble, but there's no question that Calendar Man is among them since his head tattoos can be glimpsed, if only for a second. It may seem like a random cameo, but it's far more telling that it initially appears. If Calendar Man is visited in Arkham City on the day that Rocksteady Studios was founded, he warns Batman that, "I was there at your beginning, and I will be there at your end." Calendar Man proved to be a man of his word since he was there to witness the downfall of Batman. Number 3, Reptile, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's Reptile just had to be included on this list since he's one of the earliest examples of a secret video game character. The anthropomorphic combatant can only be fought after fulfilling very specific criteria in the main campaign, so how was anyone expected to figure out how to challenge him? Because he literally tells you. At random intervals, Reptile shows up before a match and utters a cryptic message before vanishing into thin air. At first, the Green Robe Ninja's words sound like total gibberish, but after hearing enough of these messages, it becomes apparent he's giving instructions on how to find and face him. When Reptile says, "Look to La Luna," he's hinting that he can only be challenged in the pit where the moon, La Luna, is visible. His clue "perfection is key" means the acid-spitting warrior can only be fought if the player doesn't get hit once in either round. Fatality is the key emphasises the player must perform a finishing move on their opponent. Blocking will get you nowhere means that one's quite self-explanatory actually. After accomplishing all of these feats, Reptile will challenge you at the bottom of the pit. Number 2, Mario, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Since Super Mario and Link are among Nintendo's most celebrated mascots, it's no surprise to learn that the two crossed paths a year before Super Smash Bros. Despite already featuring in a bazillion games, Mario still finds time to show up in The Legend of Zelda. Interestingly, Mario's cameos in Zelda often go unnoticed even though he's rarely well hidden. In A Link to the Past, many houses in Kakariko Village contain a portrait of the Italian handyman. In Majora's Mask, Link can spot Mario's mustachioed mug on the Happy Mask salesman's backpack. Link's Awakening is the most brazen with these Easter eggs since it's crammed with many Mario characters including Thwomps, Goombas, Piranha Plants and Bloopers. Even though Ocarina of Time was one of Nintendo's most daunting projects, the developers still found time to insert the Mario cast every chance they got. Not only is Talon clearly modelled on the pipe-travelling plumber, he and his daughter wear matching Bowser brooches. When Link encounters Zelda for the first time, Nintendo couldn't help throwing in yet another cameo. If Link looks through the window to Zelda's right, he'll see paintings of Bowser, Yoshi, Princess Peach, and of course, Super Mario. Man, that guy's in everything. And number 1, Gman, Half-Life. Few characters have intrigued the video game community more than the G-Man from Half-Life, despite the fact he's a complete enigma, or in fact, because of it probably. Even though the interdimensional bureaucrat is a major player in the story, nobody knows about his background, his true motivation, or his name. What makes the G-Man scarier is the fact that first-time players of Half-Life were pretty oblivious of his existence until the epilogue, even though he constantly appears throughout the main campaign. Literally seconds after Gordon Freeman begins his adventure, the G-Man can be seen in a cable car watching over our bespectacled hero. Since he's only visible for a second, few people noticed him on their first playthrough, which is exactly the point. Unless Gordon knows where to look and when, the unnamed agent remains unseen. Even if he's spotted by chance, he can be mistaken as an unimportant NPC due to his generic appearance. The instant it's revealed that the Gman has been overseeing Freeman's progress since he entered the complex, players will be incentivized to replay the whole game to see if they can find him. The more times the Gman is spotted, the more unnerving he becomes, since it highlights how much of a role he's played in Gordon Freeman's mission without him even knowing.